Okay. Okay, so this is another poem by Maya Angelou, and the name is, it starts from here. The title is Life Doesn't Frighten Me. Okay, so this is one of the easiest poems in my view, and this is the poem especially for children. Okay, so we are going to do the reading of it. Okay, so it starts. Shadows on the wall, noises down the hall. Life doesn't frighten me at all. Bad dogs barking loud, big ghosts in a cloud. Life doesn't frighten me at all. Mean old mother goose, lions on the loose. They don't frighten me at all. Okay, and it's dragons breathing flame on my counterpane. That doesn't frighten me at all. I go boo, make them sue. I make fun, wait, they run. I won't cry, so they fly. I just smile, they go wild. Life doesn't frighten me at all. Tough guys fight all alone at night. Life doesn't frighten me at all. Panthers in the park, strangers in the dark. No, they don't frighten me at all. That new classroom where boys all pull my hair. Kissy little girls with their hair in curls. They don't frighten me at all. Don't show me frogs and snakes and listen for my scream if I'm afraid at all. It's only in my dreams. I've got a magic charm that I keep up my sleeve. I can walk the ocean floor and never have to breathe. Life doesn't frighten me at all, not at all, not at all, and life doesn't frighten me at all. So this is the poem by Maya Angelou, and there are 12 stanzas in this poem. Uh, we are just going to cover it in bit detail. So here you can see in the very first two stanzas. Okay, these are the first two stanzas. Here you can see um, so shadows on the wall, noises down the hall. Life doesn't frighten me at all. Bad dogs barking loud, big ghosts in a cloud. Life doesn't frighten me at all. Okay, so the things which we note here, like here we can see the alliteration in the words. Like this is the alliteration which is you know the things which the words the alliteration of the words is showing us, giving us the sense of something, like they are making sense of, like that the speaker, the poet, like seems scary, or as scary as they would be to a child. Okay, so these things, the words, they are showing us something, because we are here, we are talking about the children. So the word and the alliteration of these words is showing something which is scary, especially for children. And then here, life doesn't frighten me at all. This is the repetition which we have seen in the whole poem. So this repetition is emphasizing her strength and her resilience. And by the way, here also we are not sure that she herself is the poet, is the poet, or is the writer of this poem. Uh, uh, Another thing, this poem is the for the children. Okay, Here you can see the word counterpane, and the meaning of the counterpane is like counterpane means the top of her bed, the fears that come to her in her sleep and at night. So here she is saying, mean old Mother Goose, lions on the loose. They don't frighten me at all. Dragons breeding flame on my counterpane. That doesn't frighten me at all. Okay. So here she is giving names of different animals. I go woo, make them shoo. I make fun, away they run. I won't cry, so they fly. I just smile, they go wild. Life doesn't frighten me at all. So here we can see this is the longest stanza of the poem, and here we can see the short, sharp sentences and description of her battle against things that frighten her. Okay, and then here we can see the um, rhyming words here, and the rhyming pattern is like AA. Here we can see in the first lines BB, CC, and DD. This is the rhyming pattern of this, and especially meant for the children. Okay, then here, okay, tough guys flight all alone at night. Life doesn't frighten me at all. Panthers in the park, strangers in the dark. No, they don't frighten me at all. Again, she's giving examples of different things like panthers and the strangers, and she's claiming that they don't frighten her at all. Then the new classroom where boys all pull my hair, kissy little girls with their hair in curls. They don't frighten me at all. Here, she's talking about the classroom, and here we can see like the poem seems to progress through time and age, like childhood stories of dragons to starting school. Here we saw that, she was talking about animals, and here she's talking about her, a classroom. So, and then again, when she's talking about the girls, about gender, she is using the words boys and girls. So here we can, she is symbolizing these things like to female oppression, and she's also showing her own struggle. Okay, and then don't show me frogs and snakes and listen for my scream. If I'm afraid at all, it's only in my dreams. So here she is indicating that she is, somehow she is afraid of these all things, but she is saying that if I'm afraid, but I'm only afraid in dreams. The only thing that she is vulnerable are to the things in her dreams. Okay, and then in the last two stanzas, okay, I've got a magic charm that I keep up my sleeve. I can walk the ocean floor and never have to breathe. Life doesn't frighten me at all. Not at all. Not at all. Life doesn't frighten me at all. So here she is using a metaphor for wearing her heart on her sleeve. Uh, when someone, wears their heart on their sleeve, so it means that they are hiding their feelings, their emotions. So but here she is using this metaphor for wearing a heart on her sleeve, and her uh, confidence to keep fighting her fears and challenges. Okay, so wear your heart means when you are showing your feelings and your emotions, you're not trying to hide them. Okay, and then here, okay. So here, inconsistent rhyming scheme represent her battle to stay strong, almost like a children's song to show her child, uh, like vulnerability to the fears of life. Okay, so here she is just representing the feelings of of the children, like like here we can see from the whole poem, like it is a kind of description, representation of the feelings of the children. Okay, and then the stanzas gradually get shorter and shorter, could represent her falling asleep, where she becomes vulnerable to her fears. So it's not necessary that she is sleeping, but yes, there are shorter stanzas, and again there is repetition, so she is emphasizing again on the thing, on the idea, like she is she is not frightened of these all things. She's emphasizing her thought, her feelings. Okay, then here, like this poem, like Life Doesn't Frighten Me by Maya Angelou, is a memorable poem that focuses on a child. She takes the reader into this child's mind, who expresses superior courage. And then here, Life Doesn't Frighten Me was published in 1993 alongside illustrations by the artist Jean-Michel Basquiat. Basquiat. Okay, so this was the American artist. Okay, so this is about her publication, which was published along the illustrations of this person, this American artist. The poem speaks on themes of overcoming fear, strength, and everyday life. The mood is uplifting and optimistic, while the tone is focused and determined. So here you can see the mood and the tone. I'm just going to show you the things like mood. Mood is the feeling created by the writer for the reader. Okay, so mood is for reader, whatever our feelings, after reading this poem, whatever mm, we think, that will be the mood, and the tone is what the speaker is trying to show our in tone, we talk about the feelings of the speaker. So here tone tells us how the writer feels about the text. Okay, and then Life Doesn't Frighten Me by Maya Angelou is a simple, heavily rhymed poem that describes the feeling and the fears are lack thereof that a child speaker has. The poem takes the reader into the mind of a child who has, or so she asserts, found a way to overcome fear in her life. She repeats the refrain, "Life doesn't frighten me at all." Here, the word refrain is another thing which is used in poems. Referents are used in poems or songs, and they are repeated sections of text that usually appear at the end of a stanza or verse. Okay, here we are seeing the refrain. This is the refrain, okay, which we have seen throughout this poem, like life doesn't frighten me at all. Okay, this thing here is being used as refrain. So she repeats the refrain, "Life doesn't frighten me at all," several times in these lines. It reminds the reader and also reminds the speaker herself what she is trying not to feel. Okay, the speaker takes the reader through many of the normal things that might scare a child and dismisses each one. It is at the end of the poem that one might start to doubt the speaker's honesty. Perhaps she is hiding a bit of the real fear she has in her heart. This is where we saw in one stanza when she said, like, she get afraid, but, she get afraid in her dreams. So that was the stanza which, gave us the impression. Uh, like she is scary, or whatever she's trying to hide her feelings. And then structure of this poem. Okay, this is a 12 stanza poem that is separated into uneven sets of lines. The stanzas range in length from one single line up to 7 lines. No, there weren't 7 lines, there were 8 lines. The longest stanza is of 8 lines. Okay, the majority are tacits, meaning they have 3 lines. Okay, here we saw the stanzas of 3 lines. So these are called tacits. Angelou made use of simple rhyme scheme. Okay, within the text, the tacits mainly rhyme A, and AAB, while the majority of the other stanzas make use of an alternating rhyme scheme of AA and BB. Okay, now we are going to see here the explanation of first two um, stanzas. Okay, but read these both stanzas.
Shadows on the wall, noises down the hall. Life doesn't frighten me at all. Bad dogs barking loud, big ghosts in a cloud. Life doesn't frighten me at all.
Okay, how would you explain them?
Um, and the first one, she's talking about how stuff like that would scare kids, like ghosts or like
Hmm.
shadows, they
Yeah.
don't scare her. Or like in the second stanza, she's talking about scary dogs, and when they bark, she's not afraid.
Yes.
Or like
Okay. Hmm.
ghosts, same thing.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So here in the first stanza of Life Doesn't Frighten Me, the speaker begins by taking note of the few things that might, if he wasn't so sure of our place in the world, frighten her. These are the shadows on the wall and the noises down the hall. Okay, here she's using the perfect, rhyme. Here we can see the perfect rhyme. And what is the perfect rhyme? The perfect rhyme and the exact rhyme, these both are synonyms. So, the exact rhyme is a literary device that is used in poetry. It occurs when the writer uses the same stressed vowels or consonant sounds, as we can see in these stanzas. Okay, so the perfect rhyme that these lines and the others in this poem have make each of these statements feel like a nursery rhyme. Okay, nursery rhyme, the rhyme which is especially for children, something that it's meant for a child to hear, read, or remember, and take strength from. Okay, there is in the second stanza a reference to the barking dogs and a big ghost in a cloud. None of these things frighten her either. Okay, so here she gave the example of shadows and noises, and then here uh, bed dogs and big ghosts. So these all things, they don't frighten her at all. Okay, then here is the poetic techniques in Life Doesn't Frighten Me at All. Okay, Angelou makes use of several poetic techniques in Life Doesn't Frighten Me. These include, but are now limited to repetition, anaphora, alliteration, and enjambment. The first repetition is the use and reuse of a specific technique, word, tone, or phrase within a poem. Angelou repeats the refrain, frighten me at all. Okay, this is the refrain which he is repeating many times in this poem, like 10 times in the poem. It often begins with life doesn't, and other times starts with they don't. Are they and are that doesn't. Okay, anytime something is repeated too frequently, so frequently, a reader should take the time considering it and what it means to the poet. Okay, so we have to, again and again, when we are just seeing the repetition, so it is a kind of emphasis. What she want to emphasize, she wants to show uh, on the thought, on the idea, like she isn't afraid of these all things. And then Alliteration occurs when words are used in succession or at least appear close together and begin with the same sound. For example, bed barking and big in lines 1 and 2 of the second stanza, and mean and mother in line 1 of the third stanza. Then there is another important technique commonly used in poetry is enjambment. It occurs when a line is cut off before its natural stopping point. Enjambment forces a reader down to the next line and the next quickly. One has to move forward in order to comfortably resolve a phrase, a sentence. For instance, the transition between lines 1 and 2 of the eighth stanza. We are going to see this thing, but there is enjambment in many of the stanzas. Okay, then Angelou also makes use of anaphora, the repetition of a word or phrase at the beginning of the multiple lines. Okay, when there's repetition at the beginning of the lines, that is called as anaphora, usually in succession. Okay, this technique is often used to create emphasis. A list of phrases, items, or actions may be created through its implementation. For example, the lines in stanza 5 that begin with I, and the lines in a stanza 13. There isn't any stanza 13, so you can call, there are 12 stanzas. In my view, there are 12 stanzas, but, at some places it was, mentioned like there are 13 stanzas, but you can divide it, according, whatever you feel easy. Okay, so in the last stanza, the lines in the stanza begin with not the very last stanza. Okay, so this is anaphora when there's repetition at the beginning of the lines. Okay, then here stanza 3 and 4. Okay, read these lines.
Um, Mother Goose lions on the loose, they don't frighten me at all. Dragons breathing flame on my counter pain, that doesn't frighten me at all.
Okay, how would you describe?
Mm, um, well, um, I don't know if she's talking about like the actual animals, like goose and lions and dragons,
Yes.
or like Mother Goose is like she's rhyming like a nursery rhyme.
Hmm. Yes. Yeah, right. Okay. So here in these stanzas, like the stanza third and fourth, the third and fourth stanzas are similar to the two that came before them. Like Angelou speaks on mean old Mother Goose, making this poem feel even more like it is meant to resemble a nursery rhyme. She also uses alliteration to declare that the lines on the loose do not frighten her either. Okay, and the fourth stanza begins in dragons breathing fire on her bed spread. She isn't afraid of those either. Okay, so again here she's giving us examples and names of different animals, and then she's repeating the line that she isn't afraid of them all. And then it's stanza 5 and 6. Okay, read these lines.
I go boo, make them shoo, I make fun, way they run. I won't cry so they fly, I just smile, they go wild. Life doesn't frighten me at all.
Okay, so in this stanza, this is the fifth stanza, the longest stanza of this poem, and this is also a stanza, a separate line. This is also a stanza, and this is the shortest of all in this poem. So the fifth stanza is the longest of the poem, where no, there aren't 7 lines, there are 8 lines. Okay, so we have to do the correction here. So the fifth stanza is the longest poem with 8 lines. It is followed by the Sixth stanza, which only has one line. When the speaker comes upon the things she mentioned in the first four stanzas, she scares them off. She says boo and they shoo. So, we can, the words, okay. This is how we can take the idea, or we can, the poems of those children. Oh, the kind of something very interesting. Um, okay, so she says woo, they shoo, they run when she makes fun of them, and they fly away when she doesn't cry. She stands up to everything custom made to scare her. The following single line is repetition of the refrain, life doesn't frighten me at all. Okay, then there is, okay, read these lines, these two stanzas, 7 and 8.
Tough guys fight all alone at night. Life doesn't frighten me at all. Panthers in the park, strangers in the dark. No, they don't frighten me at all.
Okay, so here, okay, she is mentioning other things which also don't frighten her. Okay, the seventh and eighth stanza are big, 2, 3 lines long each, and then they both reference a few more things that the speaker has learned not to be afraid of. These include things alone at night and when tough guys fight. She doesn't scared of strangers or panthers in the park. Okay. And then in this stanza 9 and 10, okay, read them.
That new classroom where boys all pull my hair, kissy little girls with their hair in curls. They don't frighten me at all. Don't show me frogs and snakes and listen for my scream. If I'm afraid at all, it's only in my dreams.
Okay, so in these stanzas, do you think that she is giving us hint that she is little bit afraid of these things?
Um, no.
No? In the 10th stanza,
Oh, she's talking about how it's in her dreams.
her dreams. From this thing, we can get the idea. So maybe she is, scared of these things, but she's hiding. Okay, so here, okay, the ninth stanza brings the speaker, who is confirmed in these lines to be young, into the classroom. This is a place where most children experience fear at some point, but she doesn't. Okay, here in this stanza. The boys might pull her hair or taunt her, but she doesn't care. If they show her frogs and snakes, she isn't bothered either. Okay, so she, isn't bothered of these all things. Okay, and the last two lines of 10th stanza admit that she might sometimes be afraid, but it's only in her dreams. So she is, saying like she isn't afraid of these all things, but if she gets afraid, so it's only in her dreams. Okay, there she can't control what she feels. Okay, so this is the line, or these are the lines which are giving us little bit hint, that she is also afraid of these all things. Okay, okay, read these lines.
I've got a magic charm that I keep up my sleeve. I can walk the ocean floor and never have to breathe. Life doesn't frighten me at all, not at all, not at all. Life doesn't frighten me at all.
Okay, these are the last two stanzas of this poem, 11th and 12th stanza. In the 11th stanza of Life Doesn't Frighten Me, she explains that she has a magic charm that keeps her from being scared. It's always up her sleeve. Okay, she allows her to pass through life without giving in to the fear that strikes other children. The last four lines of the poem repeat the refrain twice and then re-emphasize it with a line not at all twice. The number of times that Angelou's youngest speaker uses the phrase, life doesn't frighten me at all, it could lead a reader to believe the opposite. Okay, so it could be that she is repeating it so many times in order to convince herself she isn't afraid when she really is. Okay, so do you think, do you agree with this?
Yes, because it's like she says it so much that she's trying to convince herself that she's not
Yes,
scared.
yes, yes. That's why she's repeating. In actual, it seems, she is afraid of these all things, but she is also trying to convince herself as well. She wants to convince herself that she is not afraid of these all things, and she is also trying to tell us that she is not afraid of these all things. But in actual, if we see it seems that she is afraid of these all things. Okay, so this was your poem, and okay, so that's it for today. Anything you want to ask?
No,
No.
fine.
Okay, so we are going to end it here, and we will meet in next class. Okay,
Okay.
Allah Hafiz.